2 Chinese engineers were arrested by Israel in Gaza. That doesn't mean they were the only 2 that were. Those are the ones that were arrested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, this is from the Hindustan Times. IDF found Chinese weapons tunnel engineers in Gaza. Here, you get
Chinese tunnel engineers in Gaza.
Yeah, cutting edge Chinese military hardware and weaponry in Gaza. He added that Hamas tunnels were designed and constructed with assistance from Chinese PLA experts in tunnel warfare.
People's Liberation Army
of China, yeah.
That's communists. They're all communists.
Yeah. Very quickly, this is from a webinar on May 28th. The CCP's invasion of Israel, how she set fire to the Middle East. This is Frank Gaffney,
I've heard of him.
He has an organization with Rabbi Pesach Waluki, Lieutenant Colonel Guermantes Lailari, and Dr. David Wormser. Oh, that's fine. So here, this Guermantes Lailari. Who's Guermantes Lailari? He is he is retired U.S. Air Force Foreign Area Officer specializing in counterterrorism, irregular warfare, and missile defense. So Guermantes Lailari, he goes on to say, and this is a transcript from this Zoom that they had. He talks about, Mohammed Deif. Mohammed Deif is the head of the military wing of Hamas. So he goes, and one of interesting facts is that Mohammed Deif has 2 Chinese wives. Now, how did Mohammed Deif get 2 Chinese wives? We're gonna have to check that. But he goes on. It's just funny. He goes on to say he was living and learning in China in the 1990s.
At the same time, 2 Chinese wives at the same time.
Yeah. What was he doing? He was at the PLA School for Ordnance and Artillery, learning about rockets, explosives, and everything that has rained down on Israel since the 1990s. So this guy, who's now has been the head of the military wing of Hamas, has been well trained by the People's Liberation Army on how to make life difficult for Israelis and anybody else who's living in Israel. That's a big factor. I mean, the fact that he was directly trained by the People's Liberation Army and then became the head of the military wing, the second most important factor is the weapons that were found and the equipment that was found in the tunnels under Gaza. Yes, there were Russian weapons, there were Chinese weapons, there were even North Korean weapons, but reports in the open press emphasized that. The Israelis stated that the weapons they found were highly sophisticated Chinese weapons, and there was intelligence collection equipment that was Chinese-made. There were rockets that had Chinese technology in them and missiles. So all these military-type things was unusual because the way it was reported in the press was that the IDF was actually very surprised at what they found. I wouldn't have included this if the Israelis had said, this is normal material that might be found in any terrorist organization around the world. But they emphasized that this is highly sophisticated equipment, both in the weapons area and in the electronics and communication intelligence area. And probably the third important factor was there were 2 PLA engineers that they found in the tunnels, and China rapidly tried to put pressure on Israel to return them, and even try to get the Russians to put some pressure on Israel to return these 2 guys. And they went back to China. I don't think they were interrogated. I don't know for sure. But why are there 2 PLA tunnel engineers in Gaza? To me, that's very suspect. And the fact that we don't know, for example, if there were previous engineers there and helping them design the entire network, we don't know. But we can suspect that there was some involvement of China in helping Hamas design these tunnels that then went on for miles and miles and were very sophisticated. They had air pressure systems, so if one part of the tunnel was blown up, it wouldn't affect the other part. These are not things that, terrorists typically design as part of their network. So that's kind of the rough facts on the ground that were found. And that is sort of the China-Hamas direct connection.